In February 1993, federal agents arrived at a large compound near Waco, Texas, after receiving reports about illegal weapons.
Stored inside the building, and surveillance teams had already spent weeks monitoring movements around the property before the operation began.
The compound itself functioned like an isolated, enclosed community, with living quarters, storage rooms, towers.
Locked sections and heavily reinforced entrances spread across the property.
On the morning of the raid, multiple vehicles approached the compound while helicopters moved overhead.
And seconds after agents attempted entry, gunfire exploded from both sides around the building.
Several agents were hit immediately near the front entrance while others became trapped. Behind vehicles and walls, unable to reach wounded officers lying exposed near the compound. Inside the building, armed members moved through hallways, staircases, and upper floors while agents attempted to enter through windows and side doors under continuous gunfire. The first exchange lasted long enough to leave multiple people dead on both sides, before surviving agents retreated from the property, carrying injured officers away from the entrance.
After the failed raid, the compound became completely surrounded and armored vehicles blocked.
Escape routes while negotiators attempted to contact people trapped inside. Investigators quickly realized children, families, and armed adults remained locked inside different sections of the compound, and several exits had already been barricaded from within. Hours later, negotiators convinced a small number of children to leave the building, but many others remained inside while armed members continued moving between rooms carrying weapons, ammunition, and supplies. Surveillance equipment captured figures appearing at windows during the night, while spotlights illuminated the compound from surrounding positions. Negotiators established phone communication with leaders inside the building and attempted to arrange more releases, while tactical teams monitored every visible entrance. Days later, another group of children exited the compound, but negotiations slowed.
After arguments erupted over surrender conditions and media broadcasts connected to the siege.
At one point, investigators intercepted conversations suggesting armed members were reinforcing
Internal positions and preparing for another confrontation if entry teams returned.
Thermal imaging later showed movement throughout hidden sections of the compound, including underground areas, storage rooms, and fortified interior hallways.
As the standoff continued, tactical teams used loudspeakers, floodlights, and armored vehicles
to pressure those inside, while surveillance teams tracked every visible movement near doors and windows. One night, several individuals attempted to leave through a side area of the compound, but quickly retreated back inside after warning shots were fired nearby. Negotiators then received information that certain members inside wanted to surrender, while others refused to leave, creating divisions throughout the building. Armored vehicles moved closer to outer walls and began damaging sections of the structure to open visibility into rooms and remove defensive barriers built inside the compound. People inside responded by moving mattresses, furniture, and debris to block openings created by the vehicles, while gunfire occasionally erupted from windows toward surrounding positions. Then investigators received reports that additional weapons, ammunition, and gas masks were being distributed inside the compound, suggesting preparations for a larger confrontation. During the following days, negotiators attempted repeatedly to secure a full surrender, but every agreement collapsed before completion, and surveillance teams continued spotting armed movement throughout upper floors, towers, and interior corridors. The siege stretched week after week, while tactical teams expanded positions around the property and prepared contingency plans for a forced entry if negotiations failed completely. In April 1993, armored vehicles advanced toward the compound before sunrise and began inserting tear gas through walls, windows, and damaged sections of the structure in an attempt to force occupants outside. The vehicles smashed through outer rooms and internal barriers, while loudspeakers announced instructions, ordering everyone inside to leave immediately. Instead of mass surrender figures, continued moving through hallways, staircases, and hidden rooms, while tactical teams observed people repositioning furniture and materials deeper inside the compound. Several individuals briefly appeared near exits before retreating back into the structure as armored vehicles pushed further into outer sections of the building. Then, multiple fires suddenly ignited in different areas of the compound almost simultaneously, and smoke spread rapidly through hallways, upper floors, and stairwells. Surveillance teams reported flames appearing from several points at once, while people inside continued moving between rooms as visibility collapsed inside the structure. Armored vehicles attempted to create openings through walls to allow escape routes, but sections of the building were already collapsing as fire spread across connected wooden structures. Some occupants managed to escape through windows and damaged walls, while others remained trapped inside rapidly filling smoke and burning debris.
Investigators later reconstructed movements showing that several people attempted to reach exits but became blocked by collapsing hallways, fire barriers, and destroyed staircases.
A number of survivors described confusion inside the compound during the final minutes as smoke, darkness, and structural damage spread through nearly every room simultaneously. Emergency teams remained outside the burning structure, unable to enter safely, while ammunition stored inside the building exploded repeatedly during the fire.
The main sections of the compound collapsed soon afterward, leaving only burning debris and isolated walls standing across the property.
Search teams entered the ruins later and discovered multiple bodies throughout enclosed rooms, underground areas, and collapsed corridors inside the compound.
Investigators recovered firearms, ammunition, protective equipment, communication devices, and burned documents scattered across the destroyed structure. Forensic teams reconstructed the final timeline using radio recordings, surveillance footage, thermal imaging, and recovered evidence from inside the ruins.
Survivor statements described armed movement through hallways during the final hours and confirmed that several exits inside the compound had become blocked before the fire consumed the structure.
The evidence showed that people had remained trapped inside multiple enclosed sections, while smoke and flames spread faster than escape routes could remain open.
As investigators cleared debris, they continued discovering victims in separate rooms, hidden spaces, and collapsed interior sections that had been inaccessible during the fire.
The siege officially ended after 51 days, leaving the destroyed compound filled with evidence, weapons, damaged vehicles, and burned interior corridors where the final confrontation had taken place.